Hello everybody. Sorry I'm running a little late. Been running a little late on most of my Ace Attorney streams. That's okay. Anyways, Di, do you remember what happened last week? Oh. The WebSocket's broke. The WebSocket broke. This is gonna be terrible. Let's see what it's doing on the other one. Well, it's not doing it on the other chat, it's just doing it on this one. The smaller chat is not spamming, but the on-screen chat is spamming. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, it is weird. I think the WebSocket's broke. You're in their Discord server. Just go and say, hey, the on-screen chat is spamming, but the client is not spamming. But anyways, Di, do you remember what happened last week? Why? Oh, you got a platinum anvil now. You're not quite there at the top tier yet. Do they have any ideas on what they can do for us to fix it? A lot of stuff happened, huh? Let's see. I was hoping you'd say stuff like this. Well, I remember being in jail. I didn't say anything about rebuilding the socket. I said fixing it. Oh, so change out the inputs, okay. So yeah, we were in jail. We talked to Judge Gabel. We said a few things. We competed mind chess with Winner. Big boy winner, not little boy winner. Then we had this meeting. We had the meeting for Edgeworth badge, and Phoenix, or yeah, not Phoenix. Miles Edgeworth ended up turning it into his investigation and decided to challenge Winner for the murder. And Kay is still desperately telling Miles Edgeworth to leave it alone. Leave it alone, leave it alone. So we're right here where we're going to end up challenging Exusis Winner. April 6th. Committee for Prosecutorial Chamber. Silence in the courtroom, please. Oh, We also found out that the nurse fabricated the coroner's findings. The nurse, not the doctor. And we found out the nurse was working under Exusis Winter. Miss Von Karma, if you would be so kind as to update us on the progress of the search. It's not good news, I'm afraid. The entire big building has been searched from top to bottom. And no auctioneer's hammer was found anywhere. Yes, we also did not find the auctioneer's hammer. Or! That is bad news indeed. Then we have no choice but to move ahead with the verdict. Ah! Such terrible shame! I suppose only a fool would have left the murder weapon behind. The biggest fool is Exusis. Excelsius, that's his name, Excelsius. Get rid of X and you have Celsius. It's certainly not what I expect from a first-rate criminal mind. No, there's just not enough to work with here. I can't carry us any further on my own. Yes, it really is a tragedy, but such is life, I suppose. I was just thinking back over the defendant I've made plea deals with over the years, including that Manfred von Karma. I knew I should have been a player. People who poured their hearts out to me, who trusted me with every detail of their crime. Manfred von Karma. And then, when it came to their sentencing, I recommended life in prison every time. Including that Manfred von Karma. For every single one. Drake and Full, follow the Twitch channel. Thank you for the follow. I think it might have fixed itself. I don't see it. Oh, there it goes again. I spoke too soon. I spoke too soon, but it seems like it's a Twitch thing now. Because YouTube's only done it once. Well, let's see if it'll spam again. Type in something again. Looks like YouTube is probably disconnected. Nope, there it goes. It's delayed. Back to spamming again. It's back to spamming again. There we go. It was working for about a second. Well, it went back to fixing itself. It's gonna do whatever it wants now. Well, it seems like it's okay now. That WebSocket's slightly broken. I think it's connecting and reconnecting, and we get a lot of spam. So it's probably a connection error. Oh, if only you could see them! That stupid, dumbfounded looks on their faces! The verdict will be passed. all present will accept the goddess's word as law. I am not accepting the goddess's word as law. That's not how the law works. There's nothing more I can do. Kay and I are both. If only we had some proof. Never imagined I would be passing judgment on you under such circumstances. End of the road, huh? By the power invested in me. Excelsius winner. This court hereby indicts you for your crime. Di, did you expect that? I'm guessing no. What? Huh? What on earth's going into you, Verity? I submit for the court's consideration the case file of a certain incident, namely the IS-7 incident, a murder that took place 18 years ago. I think I might have revealed some hints that I mentioned, including that my friend Von Karma. Well, what does that file have to do with... Wait, you mean... Your late night visit to this chamber? That was to... Precisely. I came here to retrieve these documents. So sadly, it would seem that I arrived too early to catch the auction itself. When we spoke of the matter before, I implied that I had come to retrieve files pertaining to your own case. You'll have to forgive me. That was a ruse to buy myself more time. IS-7 incident case file data jotted down in my organizer. What the heck are you doing, Gavel? You can't just accuse my dad! Well, actually, she can, technically. I'm not receiving any issues from Kick on XSplit, though. Kick is not losing any frames. Yeah, Kick is running fine. Switches. Apparently, when I dropped the bitrate down for YouTube, it reset itself to 480 frames. We'll keep an eye on it. But YouTube apparently reset itself when I changed the bitrate. Without proper grounds, it's deformation. An excellent observation, Yusuf. It is? And of course, I have the grounds to make such an accusation. 18 years ago, Mr. Manfred von Karma had some details about the victim's body fabricated. Details he was forced to fabricate when the sculptor Artie Frost's body went missing. My papa? Fabricating information? What is the meaning of this? She was, didn't know about this herself. So, she's learning all of this herself. I'm losing more frames on YouTube. YouTube, did you just reset it? No, you're still at 720. Ian Seidman, the detective originally assigned to the case, did in fact report that the body had gone missing. However, it seems that someone wasn't very pleased with Mr. Von Karma. and deliberately withheld that information in order to bring him down a few pegs. She's talking about Excelsius. What? What? This individual refused to allow anyone to go against their wishes or to challenge their power. They're known to go to extreme lengths in order to bring those who defy them to heel. 18 years ago, they were no different. In fact, they even ordered Dr. Hurst to create a fake autopsy report for the IS-7 incident. What? She was responsible for the fake report? Wait, you have to understand. Grandma, she's not a bad person. She had to do what he said. She didn't have any choice. See? The person in question was the chief prosecutor at the time. The chief prosecutor years ago? No! The man who gave Papa the first penalty of his career? Excelsius winner. It was you.
Objection!
What are you all talking about? My dad would never do something like that. Well, he did.
Overruled.
I'm sorry, is just, but your opinion on this matter is not needed here. Well, Chairman Winter, do you have anything to say for yourself? All the nonsense with the body, that was Monfred's doing. Such a willful boy. That fake autopsy report? Hilda, how could you? I can't believe you naughty kids would do such dishonest things behind my back.
Hold it!
We could just ask her why she did it. She is standing right over there after all. Wait, Grandma! Ouch! Grandma, I'm sorry. I knew that's why I... Right. Exactly. If I didn't, everybody would have found out about what you did. They said he was going to charge you if I didn't help them with their plan. They said he would. I just had to do what the auctioneer said. So, you were proceeded into it. Were you, Nurse Healer? Just to be clear, the auctioneer was Chairman Winter? I'm sorry, but I honestly don't know. The person forcing me to help them was the auctioneer. He definitely looked to be about the same build as the chairman, but I never saw their face. Well, there must be something. Any details? No matter how small, will do. Oh, wait. Their mask didn't cover their whole face. And the part that wasn't covered had a tattoo on it. I remember that much for sure. Ring leader's appearance data updated in my organizer. Let's keep this in mind, Di. Let's keep this in mind. A tattoo?
Objection!
This all sounds very dramatic, but I really don't know what you're talking about. There's no tattoo anywhere on my face. I don't think I know if there was one, wouldn't you? Which means I can't be the ringleader, no matter how much you might want me to be. I only hope you can figure out who that shameless manipulator might be. Oh!
Overruled.
Your contempt for this court is an insult to the goddess. Are you sure it's not you who's feeling insulted here? I'm not the one who has been trying to bring you to justice. Ringer had been trying to. I refuse to let her sacrifice be in vain. Young Rosie was looking to take me down, you say? But why? I barely knew her. I've always had a certain magnetic charm, but I didn't remember ever catching that particular eye. You barely knew the victim? Why, I do believe that is a new statement. The goddess demands that you offer your full testimony on the record. So that's how it's going to go, hmm? You hold me until I finally break? Well, if that's the way you want to play it, fine. I'll destroy you all. Every last one of you. Edgeworth, please allow me to work with you on this one. I doubt we'll get another chance to put him on the stand. So let's make the most of this opportunity. Of course, Your Honor. I wouldn't have it any other way. Now, Chairman Winter, you will tell this court everything you know about Ms. Ringer. Everything I know about Miss Ringer. This is a pretty short testimony. Young Rosie was a member of the committee, of course. But we never really had any personal interaction. At least, none that I remember. I had no motive to murder that poor girl whatsoever. And I have absolutely no idea what she was after. Why she was after me. So you don't mean to accept your part in any of this? Of course he doesn't. He isn't guilty. How could he be? He's my dad, the winner of winners. Alright, you guys apparently missed the entire testimony, didn't you? Before I continue, before I press that statement, you guys missed the entire testimony, didn't you? You actually saw the testimony? The whole thing? When did it crap out? Okay, so you missed the in-between portion of it. Okay. As soon as another provider comes into my area, I'm literally dropping Zito. It costs way too much money to keep an internet that doesn't work. Especially when I'm supposed to be paying for 1 gig internet and it's not supposed to drop out like this.
Hold it!
As a member of the committee, you must at least have been familiar with her face. Sure, but that's all about all. I saw her every once in a while. My internet's not supposed to be a potato. When you get a gig internet speed, it's supposed to be the most reliable, but you have an internet provider that doesn't keep it reliable. I understand potato internet that can't keep a consistent 100 meg.
Hold it!
So, you're saying you barely know the victim at all? That's exactly what I'm saying, my boy, yes. Why, I never even knew about the burn marks on her hand. You didn't? I mean, what's the point? You get to know someone, but before you know it, they're gone. It's because such a pain to remember things about others. They're here one day and gone the next. Yes, because they dared to stand up to you, and you make them disappear. If you could please add your remark about the victim's burn to your testimony, Chairman Winter. Why, I didn't even know about the burn mark on her hand.
Hold it!
You sure you didn't know about the burn mark? You really don't let up, do you? I'm not in the habit of memorizing who has a scar on their hands and who doesn't. This wasn't just an old scar. I'd say it's pretty noticeable, in fact. Perhaps under normal circumstances, but now that I think about it, Miss Ringer did always wear gloves. Truth be told, I wasn't aware of the burn mark until after the incident myself. Always covered by a pair of gloves? It makes sense, of course. People can be very self-conscious about such things. I can only sympathize, being something of a sensitive soul myself. Hope you're not too sensitive to append that statement to your testimony. Although I suppose she was always wearing gloves, perhaps it was to hide that burn.
Hold it!
So, you remember her always wearing gloves? I mean, it was something of a trademark of hers, yes. Who knew it was to hide a burn mark? I always imagined it was just a fashion statement. Does your little friend there have something to hide under all those bandages, I wonder? They're recent, so no, he doesn't. Who? Me? No, I don't have anything to hide. You don't? Not even? The stony visage of a cold-blooded murderer?
Objection!
If anyone here is hiding such a thing, it's you. I'll expose your true face. If it's the last thing I do. Oh, you never fail to entertain, my boy. Go ahead and do your worst. So, Miss Ringer always wears gloves. This reminds me of something. I should look over all the evidence again.
Hold it!
You never had any trouble with her professionally? Oh, don't be so silly, my boy. I'm far too important these days for such triviality. And by all accounts, her work was unimpeachable. Besides, our difference in standing meant we hardly ever interacted. But that doesn't prove you didn't kill her, does it? Well, you would say that, wouldn't you? Anything to save your little friend, hmm? It certainly seems that Miss Ringer had some personal interest in you, at least. Indeed, I can't find... But I can't, for the life of me, imagine why. Too bad, so bad. Without a motive, you can't logic your way into pinning this on me.
Hold it!
You have no idea at all as to why she was after you? Let's see now. It's because Dad's a real cat. I suppose you could say that, yes. The admirers, they come, then they go again. You couldn't even dream of being like my dad. Very true. I doubt many ordinary people could quite match his achievements. It's remarkable, really, to have so many people come into life and then far so many leave it. I certainly won't complain if you choose to leave, Verity, my dear. I think it's far more likely that you'll be the one leaving today in handcuffs. Yes, very droll. But if you think I'm finished, you will be sorely disappointed. Ha ha ha! Have to think back on what we know about the victim. You're not sure how to approach this? Take another look at the evidence. You just might find a new way to interpret old information. Are you trying to help me, Francisco? Trying to help Kate Faraday. I couldn't care less about you. She has a soft spot for Kay. Nice to see she really is worried for Kay. In her own Francisco sort of way. Alright, time to fix the statement. This one's going to be a little difficult because it doesn't really spell out this evidence grabs this statement. She does have a burn mark, so we can't disprove it because she does have a burn mark. We have no way to prove it. We don't have any way to prove this one either. Now it's the evidence. Whoops. Yeah, page 2 might be of use for help. Well, we don't have anything in here that's going to disprove this statement. Because, for one, we're looking for something to disprove the burn.
Objection!
So Miss Ringer always wore gloves? If he did, that raises a rather important question and highlights quite a contradiction. Contradiction, you say? Really? If we listen again to the conversation that was captured by the stuffed cow, you'll soon see what I mean. You forgot about the recording, didn't you, Di? And I knew it was you the moment I laid eyes on you. You can't hide that burn from me. Nothing to say for yourself? I've waited so long for today, and now I'll finally have my revenge. Ah! We can be reasonably certain that what we just heard is the moment the victim was attacked. I knew it was you the moment I laid eyes on you. You can't hide that burn from me. We assume that those were the words of the killer. And where's the problem in that? It seems like a perfectly sensible assumption to me. I'm afraid not, Chairman Winner. But you see that the victim was always wearing gloves, as you just testified. Then the burn mark on her hand should not have been visible to her killer.
Objection!
You speak as if gloves can't be easily removed. She could have taken them off during the auction. But she hadn't. She was still wearing them when I changed places with her. So they must have been on her hands when she was being murdered too. Well, what are you saying, my dear? You know how much trouble you're in, don't you? I'm not scared of you anymore. I have Grim on my side now. time for you to pay the piper, Winter, you dangled devil. I say, you're both looking to disappear too. That can be arranged. Not this time, Excelsius Winter. The only person disappearing will be you.
Objection!
Hey, you can't talk to my dad like that. Who cares if the bird was covered up? Why does that even matter?
Objection!
Oh, it matters. Because it turns our understanding of the burn mark on its head. What do you mean? What can the fact that the victim's burn mark was covered up possibly tell us? You know the answer to this one, Di. Think about it like this, Mr. Winter. The victim was wearing gloves, therefore the burn mark on her hand would not have been visible. In which case, whose burn mark was it that was being referenced in the recording? Somebody who wasn't the victim? Precisely, which can only mean that the culprit had a permanent burn mark too. Or to put it another way, I knew it was you the moment I laid eyes on you. You can't hide that burn from me. Those words were spoken not by the murderer, but by the victim. No way!
Objection!
Eustace, my boy! Would you mind stepping aside for a sec? Look, Miles, it's nice to see you having fun with your little flights of fancy, but let's get serious. So the murderer had a burn mark now? Really? Where? Your little theory will either take flight or die, depending on your answer here, I'm afraid. I'm messing around. I have to figure out where the burn mark was and fast. I wonder where it could have been. All the Acme people were wearing disguises, right? Yes, and each disguise was different. Yet in spite of that, the burn mark was visible for the victim somehow. Which means... Well, shall we? Enlighten us. Why don't you? Where was the murderer's burn mark? I assume you had some evidence. Let's see. Page 3. There's nothing on page 3 that's going to help you. Nothing on page 1 that's going to help you. Yes, there's one thing on the page 2 that's going to help you. We narrowed that down. You only have to look at 8 evidence, right? Think about it. No, the mask isn't going to help you on this one. Here's my evidence. The outfit the ringleader was wearing throughout the auction. Or rather, the outfit you were wearing, Chairman Winter. Oh ho ho ho! And what exactly is that supposed to tell us,
Objection!
A suit, white gloves, and a mask. This disguise should have covered almost all of your skin. But according to Nurse Needler's testimony, the auctioneer's mask didn't quite cover your entire face. And not only that, she claims to have seen a tattoo on the part that was exposed. But was it a tattoo, or did she simply mistake a burn mark for one? A burn mark on the face?
Objection!
Sorry to interrupt while you're so clearly enjoying yourself, dear boy, but I regret to inform you that none of the committee members have such a burn. Myself included, of course. But Dad, I mean... Listen, do you think you can be quiet, please? You can be foolish on your own time later. Well, you may be an annoyance most of the time, Mr. Winter. But on this particular occasion, I'm grateful for your presence. A reaction like that from you, his son, is as good as indicator of the truth as I could have hoped for. So, Eustace knows something that we don't. What is that, Di? At this point, we can piece all the evidence together. And it gives me a much-needed confidence boost, considering another theory of mine, namely who that one unexplained item belongs to. But similar to Mr. Winter, you might be in shock after all, he's usually the last one to figure things out. But in this case, he seems to have gotten there all too quickly. He knows that his father is indeed the real murderer. Sad because he knows the truth. So it's better not to know the truth at all? Okay. What we came here for. It doesn't matter how we get there. The important thing is finding the truth. You yourself told me that once, right when I need to hear it the most. And now it's time for me to repay that favor. Show you the truth of your innocence. I want to know too. The truth of what really happened. So please, Mr. Edgeworth, won't you show me? I very much intend to. Oh ho ho ho! You don't know when to give up, do you? Where is this burn then? Perhaps you can point it out to me. But you can't, can you? Because it's nowhere to be found. Just like your evidence that I'm the killer. Yeah! Hunt for contradictions all you like. You won't find any. Because he's my dad. A witty through and through.
Objection!
I understood, Mr. Winter. I completely understand why you don't want to believe the truth. But if you ignore the truth now, you'll regret it for as long as you live. Dad, what do I do? I just don't understand it. How can I have raised such an utter buffoon? If you really wish to help your father, Eustace, you can try thinking on your own for once in your life, you useless nitwit. But, I try all the time, Dad. All I do is try. I went to school you wanted me to go to. I aced every test. Look at my jacket. They only give these to the valedictorians. I did everything you told me to do. I worked like crazy and graduated top of my class. I tried to be just like you and win as many trophies as I could.
Objection!
You really are just a simpering simpleton, aren't you? Those tests you aced, I had the school give you perfect scores on all of them. He paid his way through school. Those debates and speeches competitions you won, the judges were all friends of mine. If you never even realized that much, there's no hope for you, I'm afraid. None at all. You're no son of mine. Even you must see that. Hey! Ah! Oh? God, oh, son. They'll leave in the end. Oh, I mean, whoa. It wasn't even trying. He was failing, and he did it all for me. Then he should have tried harder. You're a disgrace. You don't deserve to be a father. And you certainly don't deserve to be chairman of this committee. Even if I feel sorry for that boy now. Even I feel sorry for that boy now. Poor Mr. Winter. Explain yourself, Chairman Winter. Just what do you think your son is to treat him in such a way? An utter useless pawn sounds about right. But you're one to talk, Verity. You try to worm your way into my trust by using Eustace too. Can I deny it? However, I have never thought of him as a mere pawn. He may not be naturally gifted prosecutor, but he tries. In some ways, he tries harder than anybody. That's what I have witnessed during my time with him. Yet you would call him useless?
Objection!
Oh, he is, Verity, my girl. He is utterly incapable of doing anything I ask of him. Edgeworth, I entrust my offerings to the goddess you, so that you may use it to call her final judgment unto Excelsis Winner. Thank you, Your Honor. I've been more than ready to do so. If the ringleader had any visible marks on their face at night, then it would follow that Chairman Winner is certainly hiding that mark somewhere. How exactly was he dressed during that auction? That will be the key to solving this case at last. Now then, your answer, please. Which piece of evidence will help us to reveal the burn mark on the culprit's face? I believe there is something on page 3 that we could look at. Raincoat's not gonna help us because we need to look at the face, not the body. Case file's not going to help us because it doesn't tell us anything about the burn mark on the killer's face. Remember, we did IS7 on the previous episode. Somewhat. You can always ask for details if you want. So if you look at the details for this one, this talks about the last episode. Did you remember all these people? Delicious Scone, Judy Bound, Carmela Gusto. So that's IS7. But they mentioned nothing about the killer's burn mark on this one. So which other evidence you want to take a look at details for? Ringer prepared wigs in order to enable their accomplice to disguise herself as Miss Springer. One wig was straight and the other was wavy. Ringer's hair was straight, so wavy, not used. Okay, so that's what that says.
Take that!
What do you think that's going to tell you? Recall Nurse Needler's testimony, if you will. That was one thing we never quite resolved. The second wig, the one that wasn't used. I think you remember it being wavy? What are you two talking about? Nurse Needler apparently found some very interesting items when she went to swap places with the victim. And what do they have to do with the burn mark? What she found were two wigs. One was intended to make her look more like the victim. But what was the other one for? I don't suppose it was meant to be a spare. It doesn't take a leap of imagination to see the truth. Compare Chairman Winner's apparent that the ringleader, as it was described to us. Stop it! Stop staring at me! One very prominent difference presents itself. His face, but rather, what's around it. You mean... You know what he means, Di? I think you do, don't you? It wasn't a wig after all. Indeed, not a wig intended to go on the top of the head in any case. It was a fake beard all along, wasn't it, Excelsior Winner? This? Why, this is my own, dear boy. How very kind of you to suggest otherwise.
Objection!
We saw how your son reacted when he realized the truth, and how he desperately tried to cover for you, even in light of his realization. Yet you still feared that he might expose you. So rather than take that risk, you bullied him until he couldn't take it anymore, because he knew that your beard hides a permanent burn mark. A prominent burn mark. Chairman Winner, I insist that you remove your beard this instant. There it is! The burn mark! Mr. Edgeworth, for bringing evil to justice before the eyes of the goddess, you have my thanks. No, thank you. I couldn't have done it without you. Excelsior Winner, in the name of the goddess, I hereby pronounce my verdict. In the matter of the murder of Miss Rosie Ringer, this court finds you guilty. April 6th, 9:44 a.m. Committee for Prosecutional Excellence Chamber. I can't thank you enough. You never gave up on me, even when I gave up on myself. That was very kind of you. There's no need to thank me. As a prosecutor, no. As a friend, was the least I could do. Mr. Edgeworth, rejoice. I learned that Chairman Winner had been safely delivered to the detention center. Search for the missing auction hammer continues, however. There are talks about Chairman Winner, so it's highly likely that it has already been destroyed. In addition, there is one other matter I must inform you of. Chairman made a rather strange statement. According to him, the letters were not part of his plan. What? How could that be? He claims that he and Miss Wheeler found these letters on Miss Ringer's person, and that they then found a second letter on Kay's unconscious body. From their contents, the letters seem to ones of correspondence. So he led to the conclusion that they must have been working with each other. That's what the conclusion just jumped to. As he read the letters, that's when he came upon came up with the idea to frame Miss Faraday for Miss Ringer's murder. So he decided to place the victim in a very conspicuous place, namely in her left chest pocket. Sounds to me like just trying to make excuses for himself. Yes, I certainly thought the same. Perhaps it was some sort of plastic toy on his part. But it matters not. He will answer to the goddess now. Under his scrutiny, such strategies cannot hope to succeed. He will not escape justice. And with that, one of the duties with which I have been entrusted with is complete at last. Judge Gavelle, before you go, can you tell us what you know about how Chairman Winter came to murder Miss Ringer? There's more there, isn't there? Yes, and I suppose you have earned the right to the whole truth. Miss Ringer once had a lover, a press photographer. He was investigating the underground auction as a freelance journalist. But before he could uncover the truth behind the auction, he was disappeared. All Miss Ringer was left with were the memories and personal effects of her lover. And so, seeking revenge on Chairman Winter, she made her appearance at the auction. Fortunately for her, her opponent struck first. I see. So that's the story behind this case. While the goddess does not condone acts of wanton violence, Miss Ringer's action has exposed Chairman Winter's crimes at last. So that was your real goal? You were tasked with exposing Excelsius Winter and the corruption at the heart of the committee? Does anyone know what happened to Mr. Winter? I'm afraid I haven't been able to get in touch with him. Do you have any idea why? Probably because I wasn't there for him now when I really feel bad for him. Well, don't pity him too much. At least he knows the truth now. No matter how hard it might be, he'll need to learn to accept it. If he can't, he'll never be able to move on with his life. Trust me. A father's influence isn't easily erased, but in time, he can hopefully try and change his ways. You're right. You've got to be. Can I change too, I wonder? Can I move on with my life? Are you okay, Kay? How's the head feeling? I'm fine, thank you. I'm so sorry, Kay. You were my patient. I had a responsibility to you, and instead I let them accuse you of it. Ouch! Dang right. We ain't just in the business of fixing bodies, Missy. The mind's where it all began. You're right, Grandma. Speaking of which, how's your memory? It's like, with a little more time, maybe I'll be able to remember some more? Please forgive me, but I had better be on my way. I am to preside over the trial of Fifi Lagarde in a bit. Bronco Knight case, huh? Who's the defense attorney? The Springer, but as we're still in the process of finding a replacement. The Springer was scheduled to represent Warden Lagarde. Of course, until we find a future, there's nobody to act for the project. In any case, I must take my leave. Wait, please! Oh, Mr. Edgeworth's badge. What's going to happen to it now? With its chairman under arrest, the committee's activities has been suspended for the time. But to answer your question, it's complicated. It's all up to the goddess now. But don't worry about it, Kay. It's a consequence of my own making. And I assume you do not mean to change your mind? Of course not. I chose the path of truth. And I chose it willingly. Chairman Winner with Chairman Winner out of the picture, justice isn't in the hands of righteous once more. If you did wish to follow the path of the prosecutor again, Mr. Edgeworth, I would be more than happy to facilitate such a decision. It's very kind of you to offer. I can't accept your help at this time. I can't ask for my badge back when I'm not even sure if I want it anymore. It seems we are destined to continue on different paths then. Well, I trust you'll keep my badge safe until they converge again. With all I have. In the meantime, I have here a token of the goddess's mercy. You may return this notebook to its rightful owner. Here's promised notebook. It seems it was due to be sold in the auction. With the name K written on its cover, Chairman Winner made the connection immediately and knew who it belonged to. It was the same name as the one in the letters, after all. Letters he claimed to know nothing about? I suppose he insisted he didn't prepare them? Yes, he also had something else to say. Apparently he thought that Miss Faraday was after her notebook, and that Miss Ringer was after his life, and that their respective goals are what led them to cooperate and infiltrate the auction together. Fortunately for him, he misread the situation completely. It was all just happenstance. If Kay had known a defense attorney who was also a member of the committee, there's no way she would have had told me. That just isn't like her. Your belief in her is touching. While the notebook did become part of Chairman Winner's cover-up scheme, it is also a treasured possession of Miss Faraday, which is why I would like for her to take back. Sure. With the goddess. Thank you. I pray that it helps her to recover her lost memory. Is everything all right? Judge Gavelle wanted me to return something important to you. Isn't that... always treat people with this file? Even people don't know. Never cry in front of strangers. Daddy, I wrote them all down, Daddy. Yes, I'm going to keep all my promises. Be a real hero when I grow up, just like you. Oh, wait. I forgot to write one down. The most important promise of all. Promise number 5. Always try your hardest to learn about things you don't understand. I remember it just how you said it. And now I'll never forget it. Always try your hardest to learn about things you don't understand. That's right! I have to try! I'm Kay Faraday, the Great Thief, second Yata roster and assistant to Mr. Edgeworth. Kay, is that really you? Can't say I'm not a little bit embarrassed, but yeah, I'm back. And I couldn't have done it without you, Mr. Edgeworth. You never stopped helping me, even when I was totally lost and couldn't remember anything. Thank goodness. You certainly seem to be back. Hey, so this is the real you, huh? Welcome back. It's so good to know you're better. I can sleep easy now. Not that you found it. Don't you dare go losing that memory of yours again, young lady, you hear? Miss Neither, Dr. Hertz. Thanks a lot for looking after me. And if you really are better, now, don't you get out of them damaged hospital dudes. Oh yeah, I washed all your clothes for you here. I thought they were with Detective Gumshoe. Handed them over to us after they came back from forensics. Did you happen to mention if forensics found anything of note? I didn't ask. Anyways, never mind that now. Put them on, Kay. I want to see. Wait, what about her bandages? Surely it's too soon to remove them. Oh, it's probably fine. She may have taken a big old bump head, but she wasn't really hurt otherwise. Why all the bandages in the first place? Prevention is better than cure. A stitch in time saves 9. Those are just a few of my mottos. Yet those bandages cost the hospital money. Both of which sounds like painfully annoying practices for your patients. Okay, Kay, transformation time. Yeah, now this is what I'm talking about. Fits like a stolen glove. That smile suits you better too. As it always did. Thanks to you too, Miss Von Karma. So glad you showed up when you did. I simply came when Scruffy asked me to. I'm sure you'll be very happy to see that you're back to your old self too. Speaking of Gummy, where is he? Who knows? Perhaps the well of his devotion ran dry when a certain someone threw away his badge. Detective Gumshoe. Anyways, I have to be going. I'll be taking those 2 with me. Wait, what's going to happen to them? Acting as an accomplice in a murder and forging an autopsy report 18 years ago. Their crime can't be allowed to go unpunished. But the fact that Excelsius Winter preceded them into cooperating will, of course, be taken into account. Don't you worry about us, Kay. As long as Grandma and me are together, we'll be alright. Take care, Kay Faraday. Till we meet again. So, Kay, I know you only just got your memory back, but I need to ask you something. Sure, ask away. What happened the day you lost your memory? What were you doing? Let's see. Somebody asked me to meet them at Gourd Lake. But I didn't know who it was. So there I was, just looking up at the moon when somebody in a red raincoat started walking towards me. They must have drugged me somehow, because that's when I fell unconscious. What? I'm not sure I follow. Kay was at Gourd Lake looking at the moon? Anyway, when I came to, I was on the roof of this building. I was in a daze and stumbling around up there when I saw this person in the red raincoat again. They were lying on the ground. I was so surprised I stumbled backwards. And then I was falling and everything went dark. When I came to the second time, I couldn't remember anything. The person in the red raincoat. Who in the world were they? I'm sure they were walking in midair. Thinking about it, it's making my head hurt. Just breathe, Kay. You only just got your memory back. You're still confused. I imagine the root cause of your confusion is... What do you think was the root cause of her confusion? I imagine things are all mixed up in your mind because you were at Gourd Lake one minute and then at the top of the big building the next. And because you saw the moon in both locations, your mind blended your memories of the two together. Huh? But those are two totally different places. I know I was pretty out of it, but I don't think I could have gotten them confused that easily. I believe these things on the roof may have made you more likely to become confused. So there are two things in here. We can only pick one. Which one do you think it is? Let me ask it another way. Which one do you remember her stating? Cotton candy one? Okay, we can use that.
Take that!
There are two key similarities between the scenes down by Gourd Lake and here on the top of the big building. Cherry blossoms and the food stand. Wait, you're right! Those similarities are what cause your memories of both places to overlap. The person in the red coat wasn't walking in midair. They were walking towards you from across the park. But if you're blurry memories, that same sight played out over the viewing platform instead. No way! Who steals a great thief's memory, huh? That's just cheating. Even still, this doesn't answer the question of who attacked Kay in the park. Was it the person in the red raincoat she saw? Do you hear that? Sounds like it's coming from up in the storage room. Come on, let's go take a look. Well, hoo-wee! I smell another scoop in the offing. You're still here? April 6th, 9:53 a.m. 51st floor, storeroom. It's coming from this little gadget here, Mr. Edgeworth. Receiver. I feel like I've seen it somewhere before. It's still going! I'm not good with technology. Come on, you have to pick up. Fine, I'll do it. Hey, this is Edgeworth. Okay, if you could refrain from answering strange calls for me. Mr. Edgeworth, I presume? I know that voice! Shelly the Killer! Congratulations on another case solved. Yes, I can't truly say it's been fully resolved. Can you? I'm sure you've noticed by now that there are a mastermind at work orchestrating the entire incident. How do you even know about this case? Not what's important right now. Let's focus on this certain individual for the time being, shall we? I have indeed been wondering myself if somebody else could have been involved. Not. How are we to explain the piece of evidence that proved so damning to Kay's case? No way! An evil mastermind? But who? Indeed. Perhaps you could share your thoughts? Who is the evidence in question that points to somebody else's involvement? Do you have a clue? So, we're going to select this one. You ready for the answer?
Take that!
The letter K supposedly wrote to the victim. Yeah, I don't remember ever writing that. So, who did? Who would prepare such a thing? I know I'm not the only one who would like to know. And how do we know it wasn't you? Now, why would I do such a thing like that, I believe the truth can only fully come to light in a court of law. Since you've had your badge revoked, that is no longer an option. So how will it end? I, for one, will be watching the sidelines with interest. No badge? Oh, unless folks won't betray my trust. Now I bid you farewell. What the heck did he mean by the case hasn't been fully resolved? And why is he so interested in us anyway? Everything's just one giant ball of mysteries. Seems we've only scratched the surface of this case. But even without my badge, I'm going to carry on doing what I can. However, this ends. One thing's for certain. Come what may, I will expose the truth. Okay. I will be very honest with you. The last episode is going to be very long. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to save the last episode for next Monday. The reason why I'm going to do that is simply this. Each chapter in the episode is going to be pretty long. This game has been long enough. We've already spent like 3 months on this already. If not longer. Because this came out when? November? And I think I started in December before Christmas. And we're already in February. So, we're getting close to the end, but it's going to take a few more weeks. I expected that I would be in Apollo Justice in February, but we had a little issue in January where we did not, or was it January? December? One of those months. One of the months, I had issues with. It was November, I think it was, wasn't it? Yes, it was November. I think I was still doing this, and I had a couple of weeks where I couldn't do any streaming for this game. So that pushed everything back. So, most likely we'll probably start Apollo Justice in March. Which is okay. Oh, and another thing. 2025. If we were just to calculate each of these games in their year coordinates, 2025 2025 happens to be the year that Apollo Justice became a defense attorney. If you think about the year. So, let's figure this out. You can do your math too. 2001, DL6 happened. 15 years later, Phoenix Wright became a defense attorney. What year would that be? (2016). So DL6 started in 2001. 2016 would be when Phoenix Wright got his defense attorney badge. 2019 would be when Phoenix Wright lost his badge. Both of the investigation games took place in 2019. Then 7 years later, Apollo Justice becomes a defense attorney. 2025. Athena Sykes becomes part of the team in 2026, this next year. And then 2027 would be where Spirit of Justice would fall in. So, you've got the timeline, don't you? You have the timeline of the entire game, the entire series. So I'm basically doing Apollo Justice on the same year as he would actually get his badge. If you remember that. Well, I think you're going to remember that Apollo Justice became a defense attorney in 2025. I think you probably will still remember that. I did not plan this. No, it just happens to be coincidence. Because I didn't think about the year until I noticed what year it was. And that's how the timeline fits for the Ace Attorney series all as a whole. So no, I didn't exactly plan this. It just happens to be that it fell this way. Which is, it's very ironic that we're even thinking about a year from a video game. I mean, when we watch shows or play games that take place in the future, do we ever think about the year when it occurs? Do we ever think about it? Like, say, I'll give you a good example, a TV show called Quantum Leap. They built a time machine in 1989, which happens to be the year the first episode started. Most of the present in Quantum Leap takes place in 1999. We're already a long way from 1999. Do you know any other shows that mention the year that happens in the future, or any other video games that mention the year that happens in the future? Not really? Well, the one thing that you're going to find that's going to be very unique about it is the very first Ace Attorney game was released in Japan in 2001. Which happens to be the year of the incident of the L6. Lore can be interesting, can it, Di? Alright. Turnabout for the ages. Last, final episode. You're probably going to miss this game, but you're going to also be glad that you're going to be moving ahead to the next game. Alright, I'm going to check to see if we have a raid target. We have quite a few on my list. died. You've heard the game called Duck Duck Goose, right?